All right, got another one for you. This one's the same day I made the previous one talking about accepting the challenge that people kind of sit towards me. I was really talking about the people at the church, but just in general, just kind of going off of that. Kind of spent a few hours here downtown. Like I said I would, where just kind of taking all this in, trying to figure out like where to go and kind of where to start. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm always going to gravitate to where I need to be and towards the people that I need to be around. But at the end of the day, I'm always very thankful for this the people showing, exactly why I do this. You know what I'm saying? It's just the bullying, the constant bullying that you see out here. It's very much needed. I knew that a lot of the people who kind of carry themselves that way, they are down here. They kind of feel safe. Kind of feel like a home away from home, whether or not they live out here or not. They just feel that's just kind of what goes on down here. And the best of the best is here downtown. I always appreciate the kind words and the gestures that people kind of give. When I'm here, what I'm saying. I see what people are doing. Even like the people who are like on the phones trying to speak to me, I can maybe process half of what you're saying. Once again, you're talking on the phone, at least maybe pretending to. And you're talking away from me, so I might not even hear most of what you have to say. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I appreciate it, but moving forward, we kind of have to find if you truly want me to hear what you're saying, and it's not kind of just like doing like a kind of a, I don't want to say like virtual signaling, but just kind of like showing support. We're gonna have to do something a little bit more direct than that. At least when you're talking, you got to be talking in my direction so I can hear what you're saying. If what you're saying is something that I need to know, you know what I'm saying? Because the bullies, they always make sure that they get their point across. It's just the other people, they don't normally. The people who are like somewhat in support, it's kind of hit or miss a lot of the time, but I still appreciate it in a way. But I am mainly here, honestly, right now for the foreseeable future for the bullies. You know what I'm saying? I gotta how to make my presence known because of the energy that I give off. It just, I don't know if it emboldens them, if it makes them feel a certain type of way, but I just know that it's going to be I'm going to get similar results to what I was kind of doing in Lakewood and in Ohio City. Those were kind of like the trials that I had to kind of go through, to where it was similar. It had bullies there too, kind of trying to basically force a certain type of behavior out of people. The difference there is that a lot of people there kind of have, they're in a different kind of tax bracket, so they don't have to put up with as much as people, here downtown or a little bit further east, where, they don't have as much flexibility to do these things. So the bullying over there isn't nearly as intense as it is here, but just in the few hours I was here today, and just in general, just seeing, the cruelty, and I'm making a video. It's coming out later on today about the effects of the cruelty and how ultimately it just damages the person being cruel the most, and it's not really, they're not really doing what they think they are. They're not really accomplishing what they think they're accomplishing. That's the main reason why I'm here. That's the biggest piece of the pie. It's because I know most of the bullies are here. They don't seem to, at least from my perspective, care as much about other people, because they don't really seem to care too much about themselves, honestly. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they bully people, because it's a reflection of their insecurities. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing it pretty much every day, and I know if I'll be walking the streets and having my presence here, I'm just going to continuously just get more and more of the bullies coming out to prove that how tough they are. You know what I'm saying? Like to prove that, this there, maybe like a way for them like to mark their territory and to be like, hey, we don't want you here, even though I know it's the opposite. Everyone wants me here, but they just show it in a different way. I know it's all love. That's why I don't take anything personally. That's why I don't respond to it for the most part, until it gets violent, and it gets other people involved. Then it's like, okay, now I gotta kind of say something. But until it gets to that point, I don't really do a whole lot or say a whole lot. Just kind of take it in stride. Kind of be like, yep, that's why I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So I know tomorrow I'm gonna be here pretty much for at least like 12 hours. Like seriously, I'm gonna be here all day. I'm here for the bully. You know what I'm saying? People who are sharing support and saying the kind things or whatever, and at least offering some type of like resources. I appreciate y'all truly. Like it is very much needed as well. But I am always here for the smoke. And that's kind of what I thrive off of. That's what I need every single day to feel fulfilled and feel like I'm making a difference. Is to have someone just giving me all their negativity. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have, and all the people who keep talking about words of love or we need love, you can't have one without the other. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the one who's kind of giving out the love. So obviously, if I'm giving out all the love, someone, at some point has to give out all the negativity, the hate. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to absorb all the hate so other people don't have to absorb it anymore. So I know these bullies, they were targeting other people, people who weren't as resourceful as them, as blessed as them. They don't really have access to the things that I do, you know what I'm saying, and the kind of way that I kind of regulate myself. So it's harder for them to, defend themselves essentially. But with me, man, I can care less. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people, they want to comment on my situation of where, I'm displaced. I don't really have too many places to go, and they want to make comments about that, which is cool. I'm glad, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is there's no such thing as bad publicity, as that one wise man said. I don't know, remember his name, and then they made a movie about him or whatever. But I know that as long as you're talking about me, that's all I truly need from you. It's you, there's making yourself useful to me in some way, shape, or form. And by speaking my name and talking about me and just constantly just showing your ass, that is all truly I need from you, moving forward. So, I appreciate the bully, you know what I'm saying? I try to tell people to not be so cruel to themselves, but that's something that comes from within. That they're going to basically do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? We are all our worst enemies at the end of the day. So if that's what they need to get where they need to go and to do what they need to do, who am I to keep them from their destiny? You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate it, truly. I appreciate all the comments, the people, that stuff never comes from people who are doing better than you. You know what I'm saying? So it is a little disheartening to see so many people who aren't doing as better as someone who isn't, kind of firing on all cylinders, at least society-wise, spiritually, mentally, and all that. I'm doing very, very well. But other than that, that's I could be ultimately doing better. But that's all of this is temporary. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sweating it at all. I know, my blessings are going to continue to come towards me, and I'm going to keep receiving them over and over and over, day by day. So I'm not, like usual, I'm not really sweating any of this. There's nothing new. There's nothing but history repeating itself. But yeah, I always appreciate the bullies and the people who just kind of have to just to say something. You know what I'm saying? They get around me. They are biologically wired to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it, because once again, when I made that video, Will You Survive? I know these are the main people who will not. They will not be able to continue doing this shit moving forward. They won't be able to, continue to sabotage themselves while also having a space to continue, spreading all their toxicity all over the place and expecting people just to put up with it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, with all my ideas about how people can, get resources and truly, live a life that might not be the most luxurious, but at least all their needs are being met. They aren't going to be beholden to put up with these people anymore. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? They can make their own decisions and be like, you know what? I don't actually need this. I actually am going to put myself in a position to be like, you know what? I only need to work so many hours. I only need to, be around people for so long before, I need to kind of take inventory and be like, I'm going to isolate myself and do what's best for me. You know what I'm saying? So all these people's, the little kingdom that they built, off of lies and deception. It's all coming to an end. You know what I'm saying? They know it. They know their empire's coming crashing down. That's why their cruelty is at an all-time high. So I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? If you see me walking on the street, talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love every second of it. You know what I'm saying? It's what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? I ain't making a move down here regardless of my living situation. I can care less. I am coming down here. We are going to do this dance. I am going to walk y'all down like I do everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that I haven't done before. So just par for the course. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all. I know the love that y'all show me is nothing but that. This is what it is. I love y'all. I love your bullying tactics, but it has to stop. You know what I'm saying? Because you are causing so much chaos to yourself mainly, but also to everybody around you. And this is keeping everyone stagnant. It's keeping everyone complacent, keeping everyone in fear. And we're over that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're pretty much done. And the people have spoken, and we're pretty much done with anything that you got going on. So that's basically what I'm doing and kind of how I'm carrying myself is this. I'm trying to attract everyone. The people who are with me, people who are against me. But mainly, I'm trying to get all the bullies, all the pretenders, all the theater kids. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get all of them to come and show themselves, so we can kind of put an end to this misery, this constant commiserating of misery. You know what I'm saying? And kind of have people accept themselves and love themselves and truly live better and whole, more fulfilled lives. That's basically what this is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this video is. I'm not trying to yap too much on this one. It's addressing the bullies, saying that I see you, I appreciate you. It's something that I live for, and it's something that I am definitely all about. So you know what it is out here. You see the people, you see what's going on. So your jealousy, your envy, your love, essentially, it's very transparent. We can all see it. So love y'all too. Let's keep this going, because I'm here for it.